such luck. Why is it I lean into this thing even though it's not working? I can't wait to tell this story about how I was at Georgia Tech and the microphone stopped working. You know?
No, you won't be telling that.
At Greensboro, we have so few resources of the technological kind. I tried to think that. It's my own book. I ought to know where my poems are here. Can you hear me back there? Yeah? A little more, a little louder? Yeah. Not yet. Okay. Dweller. The evidence held that I was a limited person, so I walked out among thickets and hills to a place where the ancients left their mark, a bluff where the city appeared, a distant cluster, its storied inhabitants frivolously troubled. Transit and foibles of the heart. A man and a woman lie down in a field, and where they sleep, a settlement begins. Vegetables grow through the grasses. Animals step from the woods to be changed. Well, now that I've created the world. This book is called Dig Safe, and it gets its title from, well, I can read it to you. I have a little epigraph here. I kept noticing these scribblings on the street and sidewalk. You probably know what this is. Maybe they call it a different name here in Atlanta. This is from the Fall River Gas Company in Fall River, Massachusetts. Have you ever wondered about these orange-colored, strange-colored markings you sometimes find on the street or sidewalk? No, they're not a new kind of graffiti or modern art. In fact, the markings represent underground utility lines. Yellow stands for gas or oil, red for electric, orange for telephone or cable television, blue for water, and green for sewer lines. They've been painted on sidewalks as a safety measure to guide construction, utility, or repair crews that may be digging in the area. These markings also can be considered as advertising for a program called Dig Safe. I just got this from the friend in the West Coast. There's another organization called Dig Alert. I got an email from Dig Safe asking me how I came up with the title for my book. They had been Googling their own name, and they came up with more references to me than to them, which they found quite troubling. But as a poet, of course, I enjoyed it. This poem is dedicated to George V. Higgins, and George Higgins was a novelist, a crime novelist. In fact, his most famous book was one of his early books called The Friends of Eddie Coyle. You might remember it was a film with, I believe, Peter Boyle and others, of course, sometime in the late 60s. And he wrote about 40 novels during his lifetime. He told his students, I was his colleague, he told his students, he said, "No one ever asked you to write. No one ever will care if you stop. If you're successful, no one will pay attention. It's a cruel, heartless business. Get out as soon as you can." And he was a successful fiction writer. What it says to a poet, I don't know. The speaker of this poem is a man in middle years, living in Greensboro, North Carolina, sitting in his backyard, a handsome fellow. And he gets word of George V. Higgins's demise. And the speaker of the poem, this is like, Doc, I have a friend with a problem. The speaker of the poem responds. This poem's called Crooked Wood. Here, in the brighter yard, cleared of brittle and split branches, I tend my patch of lawn, inscribed sharply now by the tree's calligraphy, the linear and curlicued, altered suggestions of the rootwork under the soil, the ropes and threads that tie the yard together, a binding contract of earth and wood, my little piece of what was forest, wilder now below the surface, as yet unpaved. Although I love this place, chair in full sun in the morning, the long light at the end of the day that in December heaps my legs in shorts, my arms in short sleeves, it's sidewalks up north I miss, their constant human message, the sharp heel sounds on hurried people, the flat stamp of work boots on just cleared pavement, by the snowbank, steam rising from the coffee and exhalations of workers on break around a manhole cover, the abbreviated utilities scribbled in dig safe. And what of that remembered anticipation, going in a shop or bar, the temporary important moment before the choice of an aisle or chair, when all eyes for an instant are upon you, when your eyes seek out no match or mirror, but the oblivion of an object found, the ringing of the register. It's true, I slept later then. Why does one wake early with nothing to do? And sometimes with my arm around someone, I propose breakfast to her outside the apartment, for nothing we wanted could be made of out-of-date milk, collected mustards, and takeout containers from the Italian, Thai, and Chinese restaurants, cohabiting the chill of my undefrosted refrigerator. Hand in hand, we walk to our heaven, the greasy spoon down the block, where other couples also dressed in last night's clothes. Who were we then? A couple of warm ones under some blankets, two piles of black clothes on a hardwood floor. Those plaster walls of the brownstones would not need mending. Word comes south of a friend's death by natural causes, meaning no one can say what it is that so exactly fails us, heart or head or the veins of circulation. I recall the crisp angles his shirt made, his arms expressively bent through the vest as he leaned forward to grab his whiskey glass and laughed too loudly, whatever the joke. In my trees, Jeff and John from Crooked Wood have trimmed the post oak and the maple, then hauled the truckloads to the country, where their friends will gather around a bonfire of kindling branches and lengths of seasoned trunks. A father of young children and a son of old ways, I knock the wood of the trees that stand in my yard, like coatless men in the simplest of drawings. Like coatless men in the simplest of drawings. Momentary hope there.